Hey everybody, Jake's Garage. Well, the time has finally come. You guys get to see a finished tablet project. Um, I did skip some steps. My apologies. It becomes very difficult to actually get something like this finished when I'm constantly brainstorming and trying to get things done in a short amount of time. So, without further ado, the tablet is now mounted in the bezel. Um, just first, like a little background, little disclaimer here. I've already recorded a overview of the tablet working in the car, so you are not going to see the tablet work in this video. This is purely a hardware overview as far as the mounting goes, and you'll find out why the tablet is out of the car if you watch the overview video, which is pretty lengthy, but I still kept it fairly as short as I could. So as you can see, the screen is filthy. I apologize, but it is very solidly mounted. You'll see I have a panel down here with a little window that you'll find out what that is. Actually, I'll probably just show you. The vents, you can just barely start to see the tablet peeking out there a little bit, right in there. This vent on the driver's side works really good. Really no limitations whatsoever. On this side, because I decided to leave the wire poking out the side, since all of my pogo pin and relocation ideas kind of failed, I left the wire over there. I removed one vertical slat, but it still directs to the passenger side, and they can still move it a little bit. Small price to pay as far as I'm concerned. So as for the mounting, got a little crazy with this. So those of you who have been watching this from the get-go, you remember that I originally wanted to have this slide out of the top. It's painfully obvious to me now why that wouldn't work. I mean, it might have worked. It would have been a nightmare. I mean, just terrible. So on these vents over here, there are little tabs that clip in, and there's supposed to be tabs on the inside too, but you can see I had to do some trimming to clear the tablet, and I'm not really sure how people get away with this without doing that, but I did it. Now, in order to hold the tablet in, I used existing tabs right there, over there, and on the bottom I believe I had to drill holes, but there was like a tab there. And I just made metal brackets. I bent them up. This one I got a little, had to get a little creative with due to the, I wanted to have the wide surface there to grip the back, but then, you know, I needed to keep it short because it was interfering with the dash, and I also wanted to make it at a slight angle there to kind of hold the curve, so did a little brazing. But you can see it bolts in, and then also there is 3M. If you look between the tablet and the bracket, there's 3M foam tape there, which just kind of helped it. Really all it did was these bars keep it up against, but on a hard bump it did shift a little bit, so I put that in there more or less to give it some friction, some grip, so it wouldn't shift, because this screen is exactly, from here to here is exactly the width of the viewable area of that Nexus screen, and I mean it's almost to the millimeter. From here to here is exactly the height in landscape, the height, not including the home and app switching and back buttons that are down at the bottom. There is no status bar. That's turned off using the either USB ROM or Apex Launcher. I forget which one it is. I think USB ROM. So that whole bottom part of the screen is cut off, but the size is perfect. And when I mean perfect, I mean if you shift it a little bit one way or the other by like a couple millimeters, or if you have it tilted, you'll notice it, because as soon as you bring up maps or something that has a straight line, it's so painfully obvious. So that's that. You know, there's my on the go cable. Here I'll show you what this is, just because It's out. That is my Parrot Bluetooth display. I removed it from the protective casing, and it just so happens that the screen uses 4 contacts to make its connection with the system, and so I took a USB female, and I did this so that I was able to remove this easily, plug it and unplug it. Soldered wires onto it, and then on the other end, the base for this, I did the exact same thing but with a male plug. So you can unplug and unplug that and bring this whole thing out like a unit. But that's actually held in with a with the factory mount holes, and I used a piece of ABS as like a little mount and kind of glued it in there. I don't suspect many people will be replicating that, so I'm not going to get into that too much. But if anybody has any questions about how I did that or any of this, let me know, and I will be glad to answer it. So that's that for this one. That's it. This short as I can make it. That's how I decided to mount it. Like I said, the overview of the tablet working is actually already recorded, and I started to edit it. But I wanted to get this one posted up first, so you guys could see what I ended up doing here. Super solid. Doesn't want to go anywhere. Also, real quick, another quick thought. When I cut the sides out, it left these vents able to, even with the screw in the bottom, still left them able to like cantilever out a little bit. So what I did was I measured where they were on the stock one, on a stock Quibi vent setup, and I kind of like braced these. So when I made these mounts, these kind of act as tethers to make sure that these are in correct alignment. Because when you go to shove this back in the dash, you gotta get those. You know, these have to fit into those vent outlets, or else you ain't gonna get it in there. You'll know right away, because if you get it lined up, it'll click in super nice, and if you don't, you're fighting with it trying to get these things popped in. So, like I said, if you have any questions, shoot me a message, and stay tuned for the overview of the actual finished tablet project. And this is my old Tamiya Blackfoot that's currently awaiting restoration. So yeah, that's that, guys. Like I said, the other video should be up shortly. Thanks for watching.